guys, this is your girl Tara with Coaching for Life, and I wanted to make a follow-up video today on the book that I shared with you last time. It's called The Greatest Secret, and as I mentioned before, it's written by Rhonda Byrne. And the section that I wanted to share with you today, and I mentioned it in the last video, had to do with the topic of awareness. So that question for today is, who am I? Very powerful question. If we skim over it on the surface, it sounds very basic. Well, I'm Tara. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a person who's had these studies. I'm a person who likes to do this. I'm a person who likes to eat that. But when I ask that question, who am I? Really, we're going for understanding what is it that is actually sensing and aware of all the things happening around you at various times in your life. No matter when you are a small child or a baby, all the way up until you are a teenager and into adulthood, there has always been one that has been looking through the vessels of your body, experiencing it. And the point being is that one that is awareness, that is experiencing it, never ages. Have you ever heard somebody who's maybe had a birthday, who's gotten a little older, say something like, wow, I can't believe I'm such and such years old. I don't feel any different. If you'll notice, that whole expression of feeling has to do with sensory or the senses of the physical body. Without those involved, we don't really feel anything. So the whole thing about perception has to do with those senses of the body. It plays into the way that we view our experience or our world. But on a certain level, if we think about it, even though our body may feel different, we, maybe inside of our minds, don't feel any different. We just know more things. We've experienced more things. I'd like to read a section on awareness from the book. It's under the chapter 3, The Reveal Continued, and it's on page 50 if you happen to have the book or will be purchasing it. Under the subheading, There is Only One, Our Name is I. Now, there's a lot of really good information here. I'm going to keep it really basic because I want to make sure that the information is something that anybody can feel comfortable receiving. So rather than focusing on it from just the spiritual aspect, I really want to kind of draw your attention into that awareness that you can sense inside of yourself. That way it can become a personal feeling. And then from there, it can expand outward if you so choose. So one of the things she mentions here, consciousness and awareness are different words used to describe the same thing. They both describe you. So you've probably heard that term about being conscious or being aware. Question, what happens when you're not conscious? If you've ever fainted or passed out before, or maybe you went into surgery and you were put under with anesthesia, what did you remember? Maybe you had dreams. Maybe you remember some aspect of something because you woke up at some point. But truly, if you think about it, when we're unconscious, we remember nothing. So our consciousness and awareness has to do with our ability to be able to be aware of something. And it's not just through the physical senses of the body. I'll continue to read on. This very ordinary consciousness, which is hearing these words right this moment and understanding them, happens to be also the divine consciousness that lives all lives. There is not a single separate entity in the entire cosmos. And this was brought out by Francis Lucille from The Truth, Love, Beauty. Another thought here, we are one. There is only one in us. There is only one as us. And that one is from Muji. So the book goes on to state, It's a little like the trillions of individual cells living, working, and operating in your body. Unbeknownst to each of the individual cells, they are really part of the one human being. There are billions of beings in the world, operating as individuals, and unbeknownst to most of them, they're the one and only infinite being. So here what Rhonda is speaking about is bringing things together into a state of oneness. Many times throughout our life, we think about ourselves as separate or individual. That's that person's problem. That's their pain. That's their situation. That's not mine. Now, I don't say this to say that we have to take on the plight, the pain, and the angst of others. I say this to bring in an awareness of the reality that really everything is connected. Not just humanity, but the trees, everything on a cellular and energetic level. If you look at things from a scientific standpoint and we look at atoms and molecules, we understand that solid objects just have slower moving molecules, and that liquefied objects or liquefied substances are moving faster. So when we look at things from that level, we can see that everything on an energy level is touching. So this is just to bring out that point, that everything is connected. And when we start to see things that way, we start to get a better understanding of our reality and of our experience. Going forward from here, we've been taught to believe that this consciousness is personal and limited, and that each person is endowed with a private and separate consciousness, so that there are many consciousnesses. We have never considered that while it is easy to verify that two objects are separate, because it is possible to see their borders and limits, it is not possible to find any border or limit to consciousness. So once again, this is from Frances Lucille, Truth, Love, Beauty. And she's bringing out the fact that we utilize our senses quite frequently to determine or understand something. And the reality is, when we get to a place where we can't scientifically study it in a physical or material form, we start to lose sight of really what's going on there. And sometimes we just stop studying or examining the issue at all because it becomes an enigma or a mystery. But I think what she's saying here is she's speaking about consciousness and how it has no borders or parameters that we can physically observe. So it should be something to give us pause for thought. So here's the question you might be asking. If there's only one awareness or consciousness, why aren't you aware of thoughts or sensations in other people's bodies, or of what an animal in Africa is seeing or hearing? It's because awareness or consciousness has been funneled through your mind, making it localized to your body. Plus, the belief that you are a separate individual prevents you from experiencing the full expansiveness of awareness. But when you feel compassion or love for another, you are far more tuned in to the one awareness than you might have realized. That word empathy, your feelings in my heart, is an example of this natural connection with oneness. Now, how about learning a process that can help us to tap into this awareness? And this might be a new thought for you today, so if it's something that doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. Just something I thought I would share, especially with some of the things that we see going on in the world today. I think a lot of people that I talk with are utilizing separation as a coping mechanism to be able to separate themselves off from some of the pain that many are experiencing. Once again, this is not for the purpose of just connecting with pain and angst and issues. This has to do with being in a place where we are connecting truly with ourself or our super consciousness, which is beneficial to our experience. So, the process, how to stay as awareness. Let's go over here and, all right, so it's called the Awareness Practice, 3 Steps to Bliss. The awareness practice is what Rhonda used to continue to practice to consciously stay aware. This practice is not to become awareness because you're that already. So there's that understanding. You're already aware. You're just trying to connect with it. It's so you can live in your life consciously as the awareness that you are. It's just 3 simple steps to a life of total freedom and lasting, blissful happiness. Step 1. Ask yourself, am I aware? This is a very powerful question. Step 2. Notice your awareness. Step 3. Stay as awareness. So in the book, she goes a little bit deeper into those steps. But just to kind of sum it up for the purposes of not making the video too long, and I can go deeper into this in another video. If you like this topic and you'd like me to expand into that more, just leave a comment below and I'll be happy to come back to it. But basically that first step, asking yourself, am I aware? The reason that question is so powerful, is because it actually draws the subconscious mind forward into a place where you're snapping into a state of awareness. Now, in a state of awareness, you might begin to feel a little differently, notice that things look differently to the senses, or you might begin to feel more of a connection with your higher self or your super self. However that feels to you when you use those words and you ask that question. Step 2, notice it. Take a moment to really notice what you're feeling after you ask that question. And then rolling into step 3, now that you've noticed it, make an effort to stay in that space. Now, here's another note of caution. Please don't beat yourself up about this. This is a practice. A practice means it's something that we do regularly, and it takes time to grow in our ability in that and for it to become natural to us. Our day-to-day thoughts and what we've learned throughout our lives is not to be aware, is to be separate. Their problems are theirs, my problems are mine. We all have our issues. That's the thought process that we've learned. So this is a shifting. So it can be very easy for some people, and for others it can take time. But I want you to know all is well. It is okay. Each person is here to experience something different. And so whereas one person may excel at this practice of drawing into their awareness and becoming more connected and tuned to it, another person it may take more time. This is not something that we should be judging ourselves about or comparing ourselves to others regarding this practice. Rather, it is for you to be able to connect into your awareness. And I can do another video also that talks about the benefits of connecting into your awareness, but I'll give you one right off the cuff. You will feel a greater sense of peace and calm. If you are suffering from anxiety, if you are suffering from depression, if you are suffering from doubt, fear, any of those kinds of things, having a connection with your awareness is beneficial because none of those things exist inside of awareness. They are simply feelings that we feel that have to do with our mind and our body. So when we're able to shift into our awareness, we're able to feel better instantly because we have shifted away from those types of thoughts or experiences that are causing those emotions. So that's what I have for you today. I hope that this will be beneficial to you. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts on the processes. So if you have any thoughts, you've tried it, it worked for you, it didn't, doesn't matter, please feel free to leave a comment below. Coaching for Life is here to bring those processes to you and to walk with you down that path of shifting in awareness. So I'm always happy to hear about your experiences as you try these things or as you learn these things. So I hope you're having a beautiful day. It is Thursday. I think it's like 58 degrees, something like that here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I hope you're happy, safe, warm, in a spirit of wellness wherever you are. and love and peace to you. And I will be back with you soon for a new video. Take care.